Go ahead and call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good morning. Next we have is the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda for today.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is approval of minutes of April 20th.
I'll move to approve the minutes for April 20th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. I have 10:02, or at least 10:02. I will go ahead and open the public hearing on the fiscal year 2016 budget amendment. Are there any written comments or oral phone calls or anything?
Okay, and then I must
Okay.
have my sheet up there.
In this budget amendment, I got small print and big print, so bear with me a little bit. There's a revenue of $612,500 coming into intergovernmental, I believe that is, into roads. And for expenses, public safety and legal, which is clerk of court or sheriff's office, is adding $29,000. Mental health, which is what we had put in, we are not sure what's going on with the sanitarian, so we put $25,000 into that. Governmental service, or roads and pardon me?
You said mental health, it's not
It's-
mental health.
Did I read it wrong?
No, it's
Physical health, excuse me, physical health and social services, small print again. Roads and transportation, an additional $950,000, but $612,500 is coming back into revenue, so it's only additional $337,500. Government services to residents, $5,500, and I believe that has something to do with the recorder's office. Totaling $1,009,500 in expenses, with a $612,500 in revenues. So any amounts of $397,000.
Is the recorders coming out of that recorder's fund, or is this just out of general?
She spent money to get the Iowa land records up and going.
Oh,
and
that's right.
It wasn't originally budgeted, so she
Okay.
just wanted it put in there.
Okay.
And I think it is out of the Recorder's Management Fund,
Okay.
but it's just that it wasn't budgeted for.
Yeah. And that's what those funds are for, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the additional revenue is just reestimates from the state. They gave estimates to Daryl early on in the process that ended up not being very accurate, so these new re-estimates of what comes back to him are much higher.
Well, that's good. Better higher than lower,
Yeah.
so. Okay.
Any other public comments? Hearing no more public comments, I will close the budget hearing, or the public hearing for fiscal year 2016 budget amendment. Now I'm going to ask for the adoption of the 2016 budget amendment.
I'll move to approve the adoption of the fiscal year 2016 budget amendment.
And I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Ron,
Aye.
Renee,
Aye.
Lance.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Next we have is appropriations resolution. Which is $14,000 to the sheriff,
Yeah.
$15,000 to the clerk of court, $25,000 to the board of health, $950,000 to secondary roads, and recorders of $5,500.
I'll move to approve the appropriations resolution amendment.
And I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Ron,
Aye.
Renee.
Aye.
Lance.
Aye. Motion carries. Now,
Pick up number 5.
what did he skip? Well, Yeah, I did. Back to number 5, which I skipped over, is approval of claims for payment totaling $60,619.69.
I make a motion to approve the claims for payment for this week.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now to number 9, Emergency Management Quarterly Report. Roxanne?
Hey, good morning. It's that time again, so yeah, I have my quarterly report, and I think that Nancy made sure that you all have copies of that. So we're going to be a summary of a summary, okay? So don't take too much of your time. So basically, this quarter in administration organization, one of the big things was in the first part of the quarter, we received the Tier 2 hazardous materials reports from all our reporting facilities in the county, and that's a requirement by EPCRA and under the Community Right to Know, Section 311 and 312. We received those, they have to be due by March 1st, and so usually they start trickling in about that first quarter. Hardin County has 42 reporting facilities that have to report under that guideline, and of those 42, 32 of those substances are considered extremely hazardous under the list of lists. The purpose of us to get this form is to provide the locals and also the public under the Community Right to Know of what hazards are in their community and where they're located. So they need to provide the presence of the EHS in the quantities that meet the threshold quantity requirements. And it also helps me with my emergency planning. So then we look at those when we're doing our community plans. Our responsibility is not so much as at the facility, they have their own plans for that. Our responsibility is some of those substances should get off-site, and we have to protect the public and the community around it. So we incorporate those into our plans. So I've been working on that this quarter. We are a member of the Northeast Iowa Emergency Planning Committee. I've met with them this quarter, and we are in the process of planning or looking at a grant for some training for firefighters to bring them up to hazardous materials operations level training that they are required to take. We have also applied for a grant that will allow us to do a regional exercise in 2017 on hazardous materials. So that's another requirement that we have to follow under the federal regulations. Let's see, the office took care of the public hearings and public documents in both budgets, the emergency management budget, and then as the secretary of the 911 board, I also assist and do the surcharge budget. So we had a couple of budgets that we took care of, those requirements this quarter. We were very fortunate. We didn't have a lot of weather impact this winter, knock on wood, because spring is here. But we maintain kind of a readiness and stayed in contact with National Weather Service. They have an excellent support decision briefing that they give us when weather, could possibly impact us, and so we stay involved in that. And with saying that, we're getting into severe weather type of season, and so in March was the Severe Weather Awareness Week. And we did a lot of public outreach and media to just remind citizens and businesses that they need to have a plan and they need to be prepared for severe weather. And also we participated in the statewide tornado drill. The good thing about that is it is a test. It's a chance for us to test our equipment, and we did have a couple of sirens that did not function. And so they were immediately put on a repair notice, but that's a good time for us to check those to make sure that they're functioning. They test them once monthly, but so that allows us to do that too. Let's see. In the planning project, we had talked about in the last quarterly report that we were moving forward. Our multi-jurisdictional mitigation plan for the county is becoming outdated. It will expire, and so we have to update that. We talked about how large a planning commitment that is. And so we applied for a grant to help to hire a planning service to do that. The last plan took something like 650 hours, and Region 6 was the COG that did that plan. And I received notice in February, which will be then, that we were obligated the funds as soon as we provide all of the correct documentation. It's a federal grant, so there's a lot of hoops to jump through to get those funds. So we're working on that, but the RFP actually went out this week. It's on the Hardin County website, homepage. I've done solicitation emails, and it will also be published in one of our official county papers for that. Those bids need to be into my office by 2 p.m. on May 20th, those sealed bids, and we will open them. The commission will have members that will open them on the 23rd. Working with the school districts as well, very excited to be doing that because working with them, and Ron will probably appreciate this, as we have found that most school districts think that they have a comprehensive emergency plan, but what they actually have is emergency functions checklist, a little flip chart. Do you remember a little flip chart that you go through when something happens, and you flip to that, like a tornado or fire, and you say, this is what I do, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Well, that's not really a comprehensive emergency plan, so a lot of the school districts are reaching out and looking and working with me on developing a comprehensive emergency plan where we plan way ahead of the scenario and look at what their process is rather than just the response process, and we do things to try to mitigate any of the impacts. And actually, one school district is dedicating their whole work day in June for their staff at the end of the year to a whole day of training on preparedness. So that tells me that they're very engaged in this, and I'm very happy to say that you know, what's more important and precious than our children to protect. So working with them on that, and let's see, we have a design team stood up. We're working on actually a community county exercise. It'll be coming this summer, probably late in August, and I can't tell you too much of that. So that's going to be more of we're developing that, and a surprise to some of our responders because we want to test their capabilities as well. So, and does the board have any questions on the board or activities?
Last week, I talked to you a little bit right before the meeting. That was on floodplain, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you said you had 30 days to correct.
Mm-hmm.
That meeting did not have a whole lot of attendance. Can you say a little bit about that?
What that was actually the DNR sponsored that meeting, and it was basically an informational meeting to reach out to the communities that have floodplain mapping and floodplain in their area. We just had our floodplain mapping done here in Hardin County, I think it was 2 years ago, and so that was the first time that it was ever done. So we have pretty recent maps. But the DNR has flown the whole state and done what they call a LiDAR aerial photography, which our GIS director will be very interested in because she can reach out and grab some of that and use it with what she does. LiDAR is just a very detailed where they can look down at a lower level, actually to the ground, of what's going on and get better numbers on the depths of the streams, actually, and the banks, and give us a better idea. A lot of our flood stages are way outdated. When you hear that a river has met flood stage, then everybody panics and thinks that we're going to have a flood. But actually those levels are kind of outdated, and it takes a lot more sometimes for it to reach that level that it's going to affect past the green space into residential areas. What we have is a 30-day period for the community to review our current floodplain maps and make any comment at this time to the DNR. So when they put out these new maps with the LiDAR, that they are more accurate. And so it was sad that there was only one community that attended this meeting, and apparently letters went out to all the communities. Sometimes I know it's hard in the daytime to get to those, so I guess the best thing to put out in the board minutes is that we are open for a 30-day comment period on our floodplain maps, and if they need to, they can contact me for further.
So this LiDAR has more accurate vertical measurements
Yes.
For topographical mapping.
Yes, it does. And also the floodplain center that they put together after the floods of 2008 in Cedar Rapids, those terrible floods that hit the state. The state actually allocated some money and stood up what they call the Iowa Floodplain Center. And there was some staff there, and some of the stuff that they showed me, they have a website. So if you Google the Iowa Floodplain Center, you can go out there, and the website that they have is very user-friendly, and you can get a lot of data from that. They have the ability to basically run some anomalies and actually tell you how deep the middle of the stream, like when you talk about centerline roads in the road system, well, they can tell you what the center line of the stream is now and how deep, what the depth of that is, which also allows us better data as we're trying to fill that up with the hydrology estimates. It'll show us where it's going to come out of the bank with how much water.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
Interesting.
You know, technology is wonderful now for that. Very good.
Good.
Well, thank you.
Interesting.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any more questions?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
That's very exciting.
See you next quarter.
Do you want to act on that report, or?
I'll make a motion to accept the emergency management quarterly report.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, I have, get my papers straight here, is the tax suspension list for 2016-17 payable tax year. I have 2 names on this list. I'm not going to give the names.
I'll move to approve the tax suspension list for 2016-2017 payable tax year.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, I have an application for liquor license, Radcliffe Friendly Fairways.
I'll make a motion to approve the Radcliffe Friendly Fairways liquor license application. It's a Class C liquor license, commercial. It includes outdoor service and Sunday sales.
And I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Now we have is acknowledged receipt of DNR determination Waterbox site, section 21 of Alden Township. This is one that we sent off to the DNR and they sent it back.
And it's coming back. So I will make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of DNR determination for the Lauterbach site, section 21, Alden Township.
And I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We have no utility permits, and secondary roads is not here today. So I will go to other business. Hearing none, I can ask for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We're adjourned.